I was 29 years old. My name was Takehiko, and I was a samurai from the province of Wakaza. My wife's age is 22. She's a spirited, fun-loving girl, and has a small, beautiful face. Yesterday we went for Yamashina to visit my sister. Well, now I'm dead. My body was found in a grove by a woodcutter, and in his testimony to the authorities he said, "This morning, as usual, I went to get my daily quota of cedars, when I found the body in a grove in the mountains, about 150 meters off the road to Yamashina. It's an out-of-the-way grove of bamboo and cedars. I didn't see a sword or any other kind of weapon near the body, but I found a rope at the root of the cedar. And, well, in addition to a rope, I found a hat. That was all." The robber who attacked me and my wife is known for being the most dangerous murderer in our province, and I have to admit that he really deceived me. When the authorities captured him, he was carrying my sword and my bow and arrows, and in his confession it was written, "I killed him, but not her." Yesterday, a little past noon, I met that couple by the side of the road. While we crossed, a blow of wind raised her hanging scarf, so I caught a glimpse of her face. She looked like a goddess. At that moment I made up my mind to capture her, even if I had to kill her man. So I became their traveling companion. I told him I had found many mirrors and swords in a grove in the mountain and buried them, and that I would like to sell them at a low price. When we came in front of the grove, I asked them to come and see. The man had no objection. He was blinded by greed. That woman said she would wait behind. The grove is only bamboo for some distance. About 50 yards ahead there's a rather open clump of cedars. As we got there, I seized him from behind. He was a trained, strong warrior, but he was taken by surprise, so there was no help for him. I tied him up to the root of a cedar, and then I went to his woman and asked her to come and see him because he seemed to have been suddenly taken sick. The instant she caught sight of her husband, she drew a small sword. I've never seen a woman of such violent temper. She might have wounded me deeply or killed me, but I managed to strike down her sword without drawing my own. At last I could satisfy my desire for her without taking her husband's life. Yes, without taking his life. I had no wish to kill him. I was about to run away from the grove, leaving the woman behind in tears, when in broken fragments of words she said that either her husband or I had to die. She said it was harder than death to live with a shame known by two men, and that she wanted to be the wife of whichever survived. Then a furious desire to kill him seized me. I untied him and told him to cross swords with me. Furious with anger, he drew his sword and sprang at me ferociously. I don't need to tell you how our fight turned out. When he fell, I turned to her, but to my great astonishment she was gone. When I thought that she may have run to call for help, I decided it was a matter of life and death to me. So, rubbing his sword and bow and arrows, I ran out of the mountain road. That's all my confession. But my wife's testimony contradicts him. Here's what she said. After I was violated, the man walked away from the grove while laughing as he looked at my husband tied to the root of a cedar. In that moment, I ran toward him and saw an indescribable light in his eyes. Something beyond expression. It was only a cold light, but beneath there was hatred, shame, grief, and anger. "Takehiko," I said to him, "I can no longer live with you. I'm determined to die. But you must die too. You saw my shame. My small sword was lying at my feet. Raising it overhead, I said, "Now give me your life. I'll follow you right away." When he heard these words, despising me, his look said only, "Kill me." I don't remember if I was conscious or unconscious when I stabbed the sword into his breast. Then I untied the rope from his dead body and, well, unable to end my life, I am still living in dishonor. I killed my own husband. I was violated by the robber. Whatever can I do? In trying to keep their honor, they lie. But the truth is that neither of them killed me. Only I know what happened in that afternoon. And what happened was that after violating my wife, the robber began speaking comforting words to her, and finally made his proposal. He told her, "Once your virtue is stained, you won't get along well with your husband. So won't you be my wife instead? It's my love for you that made me act violent." My wife raised her face as if in a trance. She had never looked so beautiful. "Truly," she said. "Then take me away with you wherever you go." This is not all of her sin. If so, I wouldn't be tormented so much in the dark. When she was going out of the grove, she suddenly turned and pointed at me and said, "Kill him! I cannot marry you as long as he lives. Kill him!" she cried many times. Even now these words blow me into the darkness. Has ever before such a hateful thing came out of a human mouth? At these words, the robber himself turned pale. Looking at me, he said, "What will you do with her? Kill her or save her?" For these words alone, I would like to pardon his crime. While I hesitated, she ran into the depths of the grove, and the robber failed to grab her. After she ran away, he took my sword and my bow and arrows. Then he set me free and left. After he disappeared from the grove, all was silent. Oh, I heard someone crying. I listened carefully. It was my own crying. In front of me there was the small sword which my wife had dropped. I took it up and stabbed it into my breast, but I didn't feel any pain. Everything was silent. What profound silence. Only a lonely light filled the sky. By and by the light gradually grew fainter. Lying there, I sank down into the darkness of space.